We all know how insane Deebo Samuel is and how much of a weapon he is for his team. Well, what if I told you the 49ers actually have two Deebo Samuels on their roster and we're going to see them both use their full potential this year? We can only take so much away from training camp videos. We see one clip of a random player doing something crazy and are ready to say he's next up, or one rep of a lineman getting torched and we say he sucks. I know we're excited for football, but there's only so much we can take away from these. But I'm on Twitter a lot, and one thing I keep seeing over and over is the connection between Trey Lance and Brandon Aiyuk. They've strung a lot of really impressive plays together these past weeks, and I even see them after practice working on reps together one-on-one. So, as to not be immediately hypocritical, I'm not saying this means anything. But it did make me look into things further. And so after reading some articles, watching interviews, and talking to some people who were there at Niners training camp, everything pointed to it isn't just the clips. There's a real connection between the two, and it's been really exciting to watch. So in today's video, I want to share with you guys and get a more full picture of what Lance and Aiyuk could actually look like in the Shanahan 49ers offense. And I think there's a lot to be excited for with this duo. And I'm going to show you why Brandon Aiyuk could have a monster season this year with the Niners and not be so much of the complimentary role that he has been, but he has the potential to be as impactful as Deebo in this offense. There's obviously a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. Now, this is not going to be a video on who's better than who, because debating that seems pointless as they're going to be playing on the same team and striving for the same goals as a team, because we know how good Deebo is, so I want to highlight Brandon Aiyuk because he always seems to get less attention. And that's actually a great segue to my first point. We know how good Deebo is, and so do other NFL defenses. And this is why Aiyuk is the real X factor on this team, because the Niners offense always just gets summed up as the run game, Deebo, and Kittle. And the thing is with the Shanahan offense, he is great at seeing what talent he has and then using and abusing that talent. So when their strength of their team is running the ball and the play action is the natural progression, it opens up a talent like Deebo and Kittle to get the ball and have explosive big plays, and why they've had so much success, and why Deebo took a lot of snaps at running back. It's all about getting the best guys the ball. Now, let's insert a guy like Brandon Aiyuk, and the defense has to pick their poison. But why would Aiyuk be so threatening to defenses? This seems like a perfect time to highlight some of the plays and traits I have for you guys today and show you exactly that. So let's get into it. And the first thing that comes to mind when I think about Brandon Aiyuk is his mindset at the receiver position, and it's very similar to Deebo, and it's scary that they're going to be on the field at the same time, and they are both absolutely fearless. Now, is this the smartest play, trying to hurdle someone as you can just run out of bounds? No, but it shows that he is willing to do anything to get an extra yard or do anything for his team to win, and it shows up in a lot of other plays that he makes in a more positive way. And Aiyuk is not looking to run around you. He's looking to punish you and go right through you. And he absolutely pinballs off people, but not in the sense that he gets knocked around, but he absorbs contact. And when people try and lay a hit on him, he shakes it off completely unaffected and is able to pick up extra yards. And this showed up on the field all the time during 49ers games. He turns this into yards after catch, which makes his yards over expected very high. And on a play like this, it really shows it all, where he's able to catch the ball in the backfield, be able to bounce off a tackler, run up the sidelines, and with all the athleticism, whoop, right over the top for the touchdown. And he doesn't have the pure turn on the jet speed that Deebo does, but he has plenty of speed to catch the ball over the middle, outrun angles, and pick up a lot of extra yards. I believe he ran a 4.5 40, but it doesn't show up on tape as he looks much faster than this, and I think he uses his image as defenders get ready to get ran over or take a hit to outrun these angles. And something we've been seeing in training camp over and over that I didn't give as much credit for is he is a much more natural catcher of the football than I originally thought. He attacks and he plucks the ball out of the air. And this is crucial to some plays that we're about to see and why Trey Lance will be able to trust him in a lot of situations and why he can become the number one, number two target on this team. And when we talk about this 49ers offense, we talk about people getting schemed open a lot. But realistically, that's just not going to happen every single play. There's going to be some tight windows, and you really have to trust your receivers to throw it over the middle of the field and expect that you're not going to throw an interception. Especially when your receiver's being covered by a much smaller Budda Baker, can you go up and make a play? And Trey Lance is going to be able to trust him if he's in double coverage and he sees a tiny window, or if he's deep over the middle of the field and he knows he's about to get hit, trusting that he'll come down with it. And just like he's a much more natural catcher of the football than I initially gave him credit for, another thing is he's actually a lot shiftier and a much better release and route runner that I gave him credit for when I started watching his games back. And around the goal line, when you win 5 wide and it's going to be man-to-man coverage, can you win your route and can you create enough separation? And this is about as walk-in as a touchdown as you can get. And he does it in a lot of different ways too. He's going to be able to do this on the inside, on the outside. And this is where I started seeing him as a much more legitimate NFL talent in general and not just a system Shanahan guy, as his route tree is a lot more developed and he's a much better route runner than I initially gave him credit for. And the last thing we're going to talk about is I could see Brandon Aiyuk taking some of the wide back responsibilities that Debo had last year. I still think Debo's going to be able to do it a little bit, but Ayuk's punt and kick return abilities really showed up on the offensive side of the ball, how he reads the field, how he reads his block, and I expect him to play this role alongside Debo and distribute the hits and keep their legs fresh and create that added variable where they can both be very good receivers out of the backfield, creating matchup nightmares. So as we can see, Aiyuk is perfect for this offense and is a great talent in the NFL in general. And we need to mention one more thing. The connection between receiver and quarterback is real. There are a lot of receivers in the NFL that aren't the most athletic or physically dominant people in the league or even on their own team, but they put up really good numbers because their connection with their quarterback. And connection and trust really do go hand in hand. If Trey Lance can trust Aiyuk, which I think he does already, I think this will reflect of where his first read is, and with that, Shanahan will script even more plays for him to be the number one guy on certain plays. All the while, defenses are going to have to worry about all the other real talent and threats that this team has. I think Aiyuk has been in the shadows, but it's time for him to join the main stage with the likes of Debo and Kittle on this offense, and this is why I think he is going to be the real X factor for this team and the success of Trey Lance and the team's success in general. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure to like this video if you like videos like these. Make sure to comment down below what you think. And as always, make sure to subscribe if you enjoy daily sports content. Thank you guys so much for checking out the channel. I really do appreciate all the support recently and all the comments you guys have been leaving. There's so much fun to go through and I really do appreciate it. But that's all I have for you today. But as always, I will see you all tomorrow. Peace!